Hi, you're joining me, Chef Dana Dumas, the CEO and founder of Sugar Jam, the Southern Kitchen in North Scottsdale. I'm going to take you on my journey with brunch and vibes. And today we are going to have taste buds that's going to explode because I'm doing my strawberry shortcake French toast sticks. We are going to do a strawberry mimosa to finish it off, but in the middle we're going to give a punch of savory, and that savory is our Gumbo Grits. Have you heard of that? I know you heard of shrimp and grits, and we do it all the time at my restaurant, but today I'm going to do my special Gumbo Grits, and that's going to be with beautiful tiger prawns and tender chicken and dewy chicken sausage and Gouda grits. It's going to be a journey. Come with me. Hi, you're here with Chef Dana Dumas of Sugar Jam, the Southern Kitchen, and today we are cooking some of my brunch favorites, and we're going to get started with my strawberry syrup, which is going to go with the strawberry mimosa, which is going to be a tasty drink, and also our strawberry shortcake French toast. We also are going to have my Gumbo Grits, but that's the savory for a little later. First off, we need to have some fresh strawberries because it's now strawberry season, and so we're going to cut off the tops of our fresh strawberries to make our strawberry syrup. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just take the tops off a few strawberries, and you just quarter them. Make sure you have a blender or a food processor handy so that way you can get your strawberry sauce going. Okay, so you want to just quarter them. And you're going to use about 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of strawberries, because remember, we're going to use strawberries 2 ways. Okay. In this recipe, you are going to need a little bit of water, so about 1/2 cup of water. And then you're going to need some white granulated sugar and some brown sugar, a pinch of salt. You're going to say, salt? Why salt? Salt is because it's the opposite of sugar and actually makes your recipes more well-rounded when you have something sweet, and it brings out that flavor. Okay, and you have a squeeze of lime juice as well in this. I think that's enough right there. So now I'm going to come over and go to our trusty food processor. I'm going to add the strawberries. 1 second. Boop, boop, boop. This is pretty easy at home if you have a kitchen assistant, like a little bit of hands to help you. That's always fun in the kitchen. Here we go. And you can add everything all at once too. So I'm going to show you that. We don't have to wait. So there's that for the strawberries, and now we have some white sugar, white granulated sugar. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to do about 2 tablespoons of white sugar. I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. Just a little bit more here. And then a little pinch of salt. Okay, you want to use kosher salt for this, just a pinch. I'm going to add a little pinch of vanilla to this, just to bring out the flavor. I don't want my vanilla to spill, so I'll just use my spoon here. So this here would actually be about a teaspoon of vanilla. And what I'm going to have here is just a little squeeze of lime juice, just to bring it around. Okay? That's all you need. Now, we're going to let it go to work. That quick. All right, so now we have our strawberry sauce, and as I said, we're going to use this 2 ways. Okay, so first off, I'm going to put this into a pot. So you have a pot and you're gonna bring this and reduce this. So pour it in here. Woo. Little kitchen chaos doesn't matter. All right, so now I have the strawberries in here. I'm gonna add a little pinch more of sugar, of the white sugar. So about a full heaping tablespoon of sugar, okay? And then to thicken this up, I'm gonna actually add a little bit of cornstarch to this. So this is 1 full heaping tablespoon of cornstarch. And I'm going to blend this real fast. And I'm gonna let this sit on the stove and reduce down. Now, if you wanna get really kind of fun with it, you can add some triple sec. You can add so many different things to your strawberry sauce and make it all creative. We're gonna keep it simple and light and everything. So we're gonna keep this on the stove right now and we're gonna reduce this down. So just leave it on a medium temperature and make sure that you break down your cornstarch, because generally I would normally have made a little slurry, which is a little cornstarch and water, which breaks that down and then fold it in. That makes it a little easier so you don't have any lumps in your strawberry sauce, okay? But if you see anything, you could just take the back end of your spoon and go ahead and get those out. So I'll let this be on the stove for a little bit and I'm gonna let that reduce. And from that point, we are gonna now work on our French toast, okay? So with the French toast, we're making French toast sticks. Clean your board, wipe your knife. And you wanna use a challah bread, which really to me really holds up to your batter. So first and foremost, we're gonna have our batter, which takes about 5 eggs, 5 whole eggs. Brown eggs, white eggs are fine. And then you wanna have whole milk. I know you could use almond milk if somebody has a dairy allergy. Coconut milk also works really well. But today we have whole milk. You have your whole eggs in here, 5 eggs. Now to this, I'm going to add a little bit of orange juice, right? You can use triple sec if you like. You can use like Grand Marnier liqueur if you want to use that as well. But today I just have some pulp-free orange juice. So I'm gonna pour about a cup of orange juice in here. I already have a cup of half of whole milk. And then I already have my whole eggs in here. I have 6 whole eggs right now today. And then I'm gonna put in some real vanilla. Do not use the imitation vanilla. Really get yourself some real vanilla. It really bumps your flavor, okay? And that is 2 tablespoons of vanilla. And now I'm gonna put in some brown sugar, and basically you're gonna have about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar to this. So I wanna make sure that that is all done there. And then the same thing for the white sugar, about 2 tablespoons of white sugar. So I just shake that in, right there. And now I wanna have some nutmeg and some cinnamon. And there's all different types of cinnamon out there. You could choose whichever one you want. You have the regular cinnamon that you found in most of the grocery stores. Some specialty stores will have like a Saigon cinnamon, which have a little bit more robust flavor for, you know, that you can find. Today we're just using some basic cinnamon and a little bit of nutmeg. So with the nutmeg, don't go over too crazy. You wanna use about a teaspoon of nutmeg because it has a powerful flavor on it. And I'm gonna use about 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, okay? And what I told you before is that we have a pinch of salt. So we wanna make sure we have that. Just a pinch, and that's a kosher salt. And now you wanna whisk. You want to really make sure those eggs are folded in. And blend it well. Okay. And I can smell it. So if this was smell-o-vision, you would be able to smell the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the vanilla, and the orange flavors coming out of here. If you have a fresh orange, you can actually juice your own oranges. You can zest the orange and add that flavor in there. It really just makes it more well-rounded. Okay, so what I've done with the bread. So this is a challah bread. So you normally might see this in your local bread bakeries or in your local supermarkets that have a bread area that may have the challah bread. Brioche is a little bit different. It's a little bit more eggy. It's a little softer of a bread. You may not want to use that for your French toast because it actually will be a little bit, it may not get as done in the middle. That's when people think it's raw, but it's just because of the type of bread that's being used. Challah actually holds up a lot better to the batter. Okay, so before I dip this, and I've quartered them to make them into little French toast sticks. So easy enough, you just take the outer edges off of the bread and you cut it in half and make your French toast sticks. You can make any size you want. Kids love these, people love them for appetizers, a little something at night for a little dessert as well. First, before we go, we're gonna put in some butter, okay? So I'm gonna get a couple of pats of butter. So you're gonna do about 2 tablespoons. You just wanna coat your pan with some butter. Okay, so now we are back and we are going to finish off with our strawberry shortcake French toast. And so there's a couple more steps you need to do. And with our batter, remember, we already put in our eggs, our milk, our orange juice, cinnamon, sugar, brown sugar, vanilla, and I wanted to let you know, put in some unsalted butter, melted, and then we also need to add our vanilla. There you go. Sometimes we get tongue-tied. It's all right. We're gonna keep it moving. So anyway, make sure it's all whisked up. My pan is ready to go. And what I'm gonna do is now I'm going to dip my French toast sticks. Come a little closer because it could get a little bit messy. And there is 1, there's 2, and there's 3, and here we go. I need a little bit of music, right? That's what I'm saying, because I'm brunching vibes and people know how I am. Okay, so I like to dance and party. All right, so now we're gonna lay these in your skillet. There we go. There we go. All right, I'm gonna put this to the side. So while that's actually going, right, I'm gonna keep my eye on that because I don't want them to burn or anything. I'm gonna go ahead and make the strawberry topping. So what we wanna do, take vanilla Oreos, right? And we're gonna put them in your food processor. And the other trick is a little bit of strawberry gelatin. You're like, what? I know, sounds funny, but it's really good. And it really will give you, remember the Good Humor Man from the ice cream trucks? And you got the strawberry shortcake, the ice cream pops? That's what that outer coating, this kind of tastes like. So it's really fun, kids love it. So now I'm gonna let this go for a second. After that, I'm gonna add about a good 2 tablespoons of the strawberry gelatin. And now I'm going to come back to this, checking these. They're still going. There we go. And now also check my reduction over here. There we go. I'm still reducing. I'm going to take it off the eye in a little bit. If it's not enough strawberry, you want more power on your strawberry, you can add a little bit more flavoring if you like. So I'm going to add just about another tablespoon of this. I want it to be really strawberry-y, if that's a real word. And I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon. And that's just about a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm going to add a little bit of white sugar, and that's going to be about a teaspoon. Okay? Boom. Sounds like a motor from a car. You know, I love cars too. All right, here we go. So now this is going to come off. Let's see if I get it off. There we go. Put this to the side here. Get it out of my way. And now we're going to get into the cream cheese base. And we don't even need to really clean this because it has some of the same flavor profiles that we're gonna do. So we're all good with that. This is gonna be la ooh la la for it. All right, so now I'm gonna reattach this real quick. Double check on this. Flip them over. Look at that. Bang. Bang. All right, I'm gonna turn this off, get that off the eye right now. So that's off. Let that cool down. Boop, boop, boop. So now I have my little crunchy candies here, boom. And now I'm gonna take my cream cheese. So you can take, you know, whole cream cheese, light cream cheese, but just need some cream cheese. There's about 8 ounces right here of cream cheese, okay? And then you're gonna get some powdered sugar. So with the cream cheese, you're gonna take about 1 cup of powdered sugar. There you go. A pinch of brown sugar right here. A little bit more of the Jello strawberry. There we go. Pinch of salt. Remember I talked about the salt to balance it out, right? Boom, 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 boom. Whee! I don't need any more salt. And now I need the lid, don't I? I put it over here. Here we go. Sometimes this is what happens when you're running around. You know how it is at the house. Got the kids, everybody's calling, this, that, and the other, everything's going. Let's see, 1 second. And turn them on its side. This is a little bit didn't hit here. You know what happened? Oh my gosh, isn't this a funny moment? You know what I did? I forgot to put the blade in. So nothing's gonna happen, right? Sometimes these things happen, that's all right. Real people, real lives. Okay, I broke that up. Let's see if it hits. It should lock in there. There it goes. Bang, 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 bang. Now we're smoking. Done. There that is. Okay, now I'm gonna hit that other side. These should be tender in the middle. Right? There we go. All right. Now we're gonna make some magic. Hee hee. So beautiful. Let's see. Let me put this in here. Little bowl. All right. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness. And don't tempt yourself because then you'll be eating the whole thing. I'm telling you. But it's just like so good. It is so delish. There's that. Here's that. Here's that. Okay, because I need those to be hot because I'm going to do something with those. So I'm going to get another plate here. Now we have some extra fresh strawberries. Right? Cut these in half. Really pretty. We're decorating the plate. There's that there. And then telling you, people, they just can't get enough of this. This is so good. So delicious. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Do, 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 do. There we go. Look at that. Nice and pretty. Okay. Now French toast should be just about there. And you need it to soak up that unsalted butter that you have in your pan. because I'm getting ready to dip it in here, right? You're gonna thank me later. I think all your family is gonna thank me because it's like so good. So what I'm gonna do is save some of that for later, and I'm gonna use just a small plate so I don't mess up the rest of it. And you put a little bit here. Put a little bit here. There we go. Look at that, right? Because I don't want you to dip in here and then you ruin your whole thing, because you actually put this in a plastic baggie and save it for another time. Okay. Okay, now this is done. See that sizzling on there? It's done. Now watch it. I have tough hands. I've been a chef for a long time. But for those junior chefs, watch your hands because this is hot. So what you want to do is roll that into that strawberry goodness. Look at that. And it sticks. Boom. Now if you really want to get fancy, watch. Add a little extra, right? Add a dollop right there. And you want to move fast because you don't want the cream cheese to melt on you. Okay. Voila. Look at that. Look at this. Okay. All right, here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Oh man. Everyone's going to love you, like really love you for this. And what always looks very nice is just a little sprig of mint, right? And this is your appetizer of your strawberry shortcake French toast. So we're gonna sit this right here. You know what I forgot? What can we do with the French toast without a little bit of syrup? So, almost forgot about your syrup. Let me just rinse this off. Okay. The syrup is cooled a little bit, and I'll drizzle it right on the top. This can come off. This is cooled down a little bit here. Look at that. Look at that. You're gonna love me. You're gonna love this. Delicious. What are you gonna do but enjoy? Thank you so much. Coming up next, we're gonna get into the Gumbo Grits. Hey, and welcome back with Chef Dana Dumas with Brunch and Vibes. So the next thing that we're getting ready to do is we're gonna do two things, right? So we're gonna make our Gumbo Grits, and man, oh man, that is just super savory. We'll finish it off with the Strawberry Mimosa. But remember when we were making that strawberry syrup reduction that we use on our strawberry shortcake French toast? Well, the strawberry sauce, the syrup, is actually cooling in a refrigerator right now. So we're going to leave that where it is. But now we're going to move on to make our Gumbo Grits. So in order to do that, I had gotten some tiger prawn shrimp, and that's just a larger shrimp, and it actually had the shell on. So with that, we went ahead and cleaned those shrimp and saved the shells. So in saving the shells, you might wonder, why am I saving the shells? I'm doing that because I made a stock. So basically I took 2 cups of water, 1 cup of chicken broth, you can use a vegetable stock if you like, and I added all the shells of the shrimp into making my stock. I add a little Old Bay and my own seasoning, my Creole seasoning to that, and it has now fully reduced. It's been on the stove for at least about 45 minutes, but it's now reduced. So what I'm going to actually do with that is I'm going to strain it real fast. I'm just going to get the shells out because I want to use that stock that I have right here, okay? So just real simply, I'm just going to get this. I'm going to actually come over to the sink. It'll be a lot easier and not have a mess everywhere, right? Not the messy cook. My pot is actually cooled, which is really great. So I'm going to take this and just get those shells out. But I want to make sure I keep my juice. And like I said, I've already cooled this down, so it's okay to touch. I'm just trying to get the shells out. And now this has made a wonderful stock. And this is going to be the basis for some gumbo grits that you've never ever had. And just make sure all your shells are out of there. Okay, so we got the shells out of the stock, and now I have my shrimp stock that's fully reduced. This is going to be my basis for my Gouda grits. So anyway, I'm going to have that in there. And that's it reduced down to about 1.5 cups of shrimp stock. So to that, while this is going to heat up, I'm going to add a little bit more of chicken stock to it, and that's about 1 cup. I'm going to add some whole milk. About 1 cup there, and I'm going to add some butter. That's 4 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to let this come to a rolling boil, okay? So I'm going to wait for that to come to the boil. So while my pan over here is heating up, I'm going to get my mirepoix done with my vegetables and cut these down. I'm going to grab a quick bowl so that my red peppers, my green peppers, my onions, my celery, the Holy Trinity is totally done. And that's going to be a basis for my vegetables before I do my roux, okay? Grab a little bowl. So we just want 1 large onion. You're not going to even use all half of it. Hopefully I won't cry today. So I'm just going to get this and go down. Get this diced up. There it goes. Boom, 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 boom. Doesn't have to be perfect. We have a lot of home cooks as well. Go ahead and get that into a bowl. And next, I'm going to go ahead with a couple of cloves of peeled garlic, right? Use fresh garlic, guys. Don't use the stuff in the jars that's been sitting there who God knows how long in some water or whatever else. I know it seems quicker, but the taste isn't as robust as you really want it to be. You want that pop of garlic to come out, okay? So you want to just go ahead and get this minced down. I don't want big bites of garlic in there. I gotta get this cut down a little bit more. I'm gonna give it one more pass. There we go. Boom. So my garlic is in here, right? Next, move this to the side. I have some okra. You can find okra in your local grocers in the organic section. Sometimes it depends on this time of year and what part of the country you're in, but you should be able to find okra. Use fresh, don't use the frozen one. The frozen one holds too much water, and once you get ready to put that in the pan, the water, it just exudes and it becomes really, really goopy really fast. There you go. Last one. And you know, people used to use okra all the time. It's a vegetable from West Africa, brought over to United States, grown in the southern regions. But it's like a stew thickener. It has these pearls inside and it makes things really thick. So it's nice, you can use that, like almost like tapioca, beads of tapioca as well. And then now we want to have some green peppers. You may not need the whole thing. A little bit more green pepper. This is going to be so good. It's so savory. But it's like any time of year you can have this, right? It could be spring, summer, winter, fall. It doesn't matter. Who doesn't love a little gumbo and grits? It's my little take. At my restaurant at Sugar Jam, the Southern Kitchen, one of our most popular dishes is our Creole shrimp and grits that we do with fresh made crab balls. And then on the weekends, we have our fried lobster tail that you can have with the lobster tail with shrimp and grits as well, the Creole shrimp and grits as well. So the important part of doing a Creole style grits or gumbo grits is going to be the next step, which is going to be your roux. Your roux is going to be the basis for what we're going to have is our gravy, right? And people go anywhere between a blonde roux to a darker roux. A darker roux is typically used in a lot of gumbos, but you got to be careful when you're making your roux. You're going to see why in a second. We're going to get into that. But here's a little bit of red pepper. And this is really, the red pepper is just such a beautiful sweet pepper. And it's nice for the color that you'll have once we finish this meal. And it just rounds things out. And then lastly, we'll get some celery going. One more pass. There we go, there we go. Are you cooking with me? I want you to cook with me because I want you to be able to enjoy. Okay, here we go. Boom, 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 boom. I need a symphony. Okay, so now I'll get a couple of stalks of celery. And you know with celery, you ever wonder why it kind of looks old within like a week or so? What you need to do with celery is actually stick it in water. So once you get it from the store, you get your organic celery, you can even cut the root off and stick it in water, and actually your celery will last at least 3 weeks. And it'll be fresh as the day you just brought it. Okay, put the ends off there. And remember to wash all your vegetables. All my vegetables have already been washed, so remember to do that. Don't just buy stuff from the store and then just cook it. That's how we get things that happen to us. So make sure you wash all your vegetables. Okay, one more pass. Get that chopped down a little bit further so we don't have big bites. All right. That's done. Okay, so my veggies are there, and now I'm gonna start to make my roux. So my veggies are sitting on the side. We'll get to our proteins in just 1 second, but we're not to a boil yet on that. I'm gonna step that up a little bit, make sure my pan is hot. And so now with a roux, you need fat and you need the dry. So there's 2 components to making this, okay? So with a roux, you need whole flour And you could use some, this is canola, vegetable oil is fine, or canola oil is fine. And I also add some butter. So you always want to cook and bake with unsalted butter, because of the fact that will help you regulate how much salt is going into your recipe and not being over salted. Using salted butter, you can't guarantee how much salt is going to be in your food or your baked goods, okay? So here's a little bit of oil. I hear it. And I'm gonna get a couple of pats of butter, okay? This is process, you're gonna work fast. So, watch your face, watch your face. The butter and oil is going to come together as my fat, and I'm going to work very quickly in regards to making my roux. I'm not going to take my roux to being too dark. One, two, three. So that 3 is almost 1 cup of flour. Okay, and so now I'm going to bring this all together. If you think you need a little bit more flour, you can adjust. I'd rather adjust than having too much and then I'm adding more fat to it. Okay, boom. This is also a start too of when I make mac and cheese. So I'm gonna add just a little bit more flour here. And see, now I'm trying to cook the flour off. You don't want a floury taste to your roux, so you want to make sure that you cook it off, okay? And bring this together. Here it goes. Let me see. Not yet. I'm gonna turn this up a little bit so we can get those grits going. Okay. While that is going right there, I have some chicken andouille sausage, and you can use a pork sausage if you want to, but I like the chicken. My family likes the chicken sausage. Okay, we're boiling up there. I'll come back to that while I'm watching it. I don't want it to get too dark. Never walk away from your pot from when you have the roux. You'll have a black burnt roux, and you'll have to start all over. That's all I'm doing now. Is I'm cooking down the flour. There it goes. There it goes. All right. So now here's my chicken sausage over here. I already have my shrimp already peeled and deveined. I have my lump crab over here. Next, I'm going to do is I have a chicken thighs. You can use chicken breast if you want to. I have a boneless, skinless thighs, and with that, to me, it brings around a little bit more flavor on using the chicken thighs. But use boneless and use skinless, because that way, oh geez, look at that. That way you're not having to debone anything. Okay. All right. So right now, I can see this pot is going here. Now we're boiling. Okay, so I'm gonna do 2 things at one time, okay? My roux is still going, and it's kind of blonde, so I got that, continue to go. I have about almost 2 cups, so 1 3/4 of grits. Even though your grits actually state quick cooking, 5-minute grits, they're not 5 minutes. They actually do take a little bit of time. So I would say to average about 30 minutes on grits, and you keep whisking it if you want them to really be creamy and cooked down. But you can probably do it even in 20. But the best thing is the longer they cook, the better they'll be. Okay, now I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I'm just gonna whisk this to make sure it's well incorporated. Then I'm gonna put the lid back on. Okay. And don't worry, it's gonna thicken up. So I'm gonna let these cook down. All right. There's that. I'm gonna rinse this off now. I'm gonna come back to my roux here. Okay, this is a good color for me. That's a nice color right there. I think it's a little loose. I'm gonna add just a pinch more of flour to that. I'm gonna turn down my grits. Now we're talking. Now we're getting that golden color. What I like to do with my roux, I'm gonna actually add a little bit of my Creole seasoning to my roux, just like that. And your Creole seasoning, you can make it yourself, or you can buy some. Your local grocers have tons of different manufacturers of Creole seasonings or Cajun seasonings. I tend to make my own with my proprietary blend. Okay. Here we go. Now that's the color that I'm looking for right here. Okay, so one last mix of your roux, right? It's still really hot, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get it off the stove, and I'm going to pour it into here. Because I'm going to use the same pot. Okay, now we are back with Chef Dana Dumas and our brunch and vibes. And remember what we're making gumbo grits. So with that being said, we already made our roux, right? And that is on the side, it's waiting for us. And we already had our grits in the pot. Remember we did is reducing down those shrimp shells to make a shrimp stock. Then we added a little bit more chicken broth. We added our grits. We cooked them down with a little bit of what? Fat. The fat is our whole milk and our butter. So those are basically ready to go. So now what I'm going to do is have this pot that we made the roux in, right? I'm gonna add a little bit more fat to the pot. And then now I've already cut up some green onions. That's what we're gonna use. And then I want to make sure that anything I have on here, I'm already done with all my veggies and everything else, because I'm getting ready to cut some of the chicken, right? So we don't want to cross-contaminate or anything. So now with the protein of the chicken, so I have chicken thighs. Like I said, it was boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I'm going to add it to the pot. So right now I'm just going to slice this up. It doesn't have to be perfect, guys. We just want to eat. So. There we go. Now we're going to take that and put it in the pan. So there that is. That's done. Take off my gloves, right? And I'm going to put on a new pair of gloves while that's rendering down there. And then we're going to add, last thing we will ever add is your shrimp. That only takes a few seconds to make, to cook down. Okay, so while that is cooking there, I'm going to put my gloves on, and then I'm going to get my tongs. I've already sliced up, remember, the chicken andouille sausage. And like I said, you can use ham, you can use a pork andouille sausage if you want to, that's fine. So in the pan here that the chicken is cooking in, what I'm going to do is add a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, and this all could be found in your local grocery. A little bit of black pepper, a little bit of what? Kosher salt, just a little bit. So I'm gonna let this cook down. Now I'm gonna turn this up just a pinch, so I can really get this going. Okay, there's that. So while that is cooking down right there, I'm gonna go back to our pot that had our grits cooking down, because it's time to season the grits. Okay, magic has now transpired. So look at this. Look at that. See that? they're cooked up. So now this is the part where I'm going to have a little bit of sharp cheddar, you know, heapy handful. So about a cup on that one. This is a smoked Gouda. And you would find it shredded just like this. It kind of saves you time when you're cooking. And that's about a cup there too. And now I'm gonna add a little bit of kosher salt, a little bit of my Creole seasoning to the grits there. And what we wanna do is add one more pat of butter, right? Tablespoon of butter. Now I don't need the whisk anymore. I just need my spoon. And I'm going to fold this in and make sure everything gets incorporated. And now we get to turn off that eye, because I'm gonna put the lid back on and it's all just gonna come together. You don't want it to be overpowering with the grits itself. You don't want them to be too salty, too over seasoned, because we're going to layer that with our gumbo. All right, here we go. Nice and smooth. Look at that. These grits are so smooth and so creamy. Look at that. So delicious. Okay, that's off. Close that lid. All right, chicken is almost there. So while the chicken is almost there, what I'm gonna do is put in my chicken sausage, okay? Boop, boop, boop. Let that go in there. So I'm cooking this down. And I wanna add another pat of butter to this, okay? I'm gonna turn this up just a little bit so we can really get this cooking. If you could smell what is going on in this kitchen, like, oh my gosh, it's like amazing, okay? Too bad it was this, you know, eat this TV, but too bad that we can't eat through the TV. Okay, but you'll enjoy this, making it at home. So I'm just cooking this down, just moving it around. And while this is cooking here, I'm gonna get ready to put in my veggies. So I wanna get ready to cook my veggies down. So remember, we have our red pepper, our green peppers, we have celery, we have our onions, we have our garlic, and then I'm gonna top that off with our green onions at the back end, and we, you know, the celery, everything's just gonna come together. Now we're popping. Now you hear that sizzling? We're gonna reduce this down. And let this go just a little bit further. And don't forget, we have our okra in here as well. There we go. They're dancing, they're dancing, they're dancing in the pot. Okay. There that is. I'm gonna add a little bit more seasoning to this right here while this is cooking up. So we're just gonna use the same things that we've used before. So now we have, because we're just doing it in layers. So a little bit of your garlic powder, your onion powder, black pepper, kosher salt, and this time a little hint of paprika. You can use a Hungarian, a smoked paprika, whichever type of paprika you want, you can go ahead and use that. Okay. All right, look at that. I'm gonna let this keep going, because there's a couple of things that's gonna come up next. Wait until this is plated. Oh my gosh. Y'all are gonna lose your mind. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Let that keep going there. Coming together, coming together, coming together. I'm just going to get a pot lid just to kind of push this along a bit. There we go. And so while we wait for that, this is whole lump crab, okay? This is what we want to be able to utilize. It's a whole lump crab meat. And then this is our shrimp. Now, I don't know how many people you're serving or whatever. So the shrimp count, it's up to you. You can use it some for this meal. You can use it for another meal, but it's already clean. You can make yourself some shrimp po' boys, whatever you want to do with the shrimp. It's up to you. Boom, 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 boom. And remember, we reserved some stock here. We have a little bit more pat of butter, and then we have some wine. We want some white wine. It's up to you. Don't use a sweet wine, but use something that's dry, a little bit drier. Okay, I hear this sizzling now. Always open your pan away from you, because in that way you don't get hit in the face with all that steam or any pops of grease. And remember, we had our roux, right? So our roux is sitting over here. So we got that fond at the bottom of the pan. Our veggies are cooking down. This is the time that I am going to add a little bit of the chicken stock. I'm just bringing that up here. Can you smell what Dana is doing? Now I'm going to turn it down a little bit, because before I introduce that roux, I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Okay? All my flavors are coming together now. So the next step I'm going to do from here, I'm going to deglaze the pan with a little bit of wine. I'm going to get this fond up, and I'm going to deglaze it with a little bit of wine right here. If I had a glass, I'd be drinking a little bit too. Now you smell it. Now she's cooking. Look at that. That's what we want to see. See that? So at this point, everything is coming together. I am going to now add my shrimp. Okay? Okay. So here I go. I'm going to add a little bit of butter right to my pan here. Let me get that melted down a little bit. And remember, it's the same unsalted butter we've cut up. You know what makes it easy when you're actually, cooking is making sure you're really prepped. If you have everything prepped, you're able to reach for what you need and not having to run around the kitchen because you're losing your mind because you lost this ingredient, you don't have that ingredient. So this makes things move a lot quicker for yourself. So pre-cut your butter. Have your shrimp already deveined, peeled, ready to go. Cut your veggies, everything you need for your recipes. Okay. All right, I'm gonna let that cook down right there. The crab is the last thing I'm going to do. So basically with this right now, I'm gonna season with a little bit of Old Bay. That's the other layer. This is so easy because it's all one pot, really. A little Old Bay that brings that around for your shrimp. And see what I said about the okra? The okra is pulling all this together, so I'm not gonna need that much roux. But I have it to the side. I'm getting that fond up right there. I'm pulling this together, moving it around. You wanna move it around. And I told you, see how the shrimp are getting pink? It's doing its thing. And we're getting ready to have a party. Okay, there we go. That. Take a little bit more stock. Because I'm getting ready to add my roux right now. Here we go, cleaning up my pot. Boop, 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 boop. Clean it up the pot. There we go. I'm gonna let this cook down just for a few seconds here, because I want my shrimp totally cooked. I want everything to come together. So there we go. Now we're making it happen. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my roux. Sometimes we can act silly, right? Oh, if you can smell this roux, oh my gosh. I'm telling you, you're gonna love me. I'm telling you, watch. Ooh, ooh, we're dancing. We're dancing. The buttery smell, the flavors. Oh my goodness gracious. Ooh, my daddy would be so proud of me. There we go. That's enough of that. Okay, now I'm gonna add a little bit of my Creole. There's that. And then you want to go ahead and finish this off with a little bit more of your chicken stock. This is going to get thick on you, okay? So don't worry. We're adding the chicken stock back to it. It's going to loosen out. And then we're going to use our pot top, because I'm going to add the crab meat. See? Ooh, that's okay. Little sizzle, sizzle, pop, pop doesn't hurt nobody. All right, there we go. That's done. And now I'm gonna add some warm crab meat to this. Just fold it right in. It's never too much, never too much. People know the song, Luther Vandross. And now, other hand, let me sprinkle a little bit more of my Creole. Listen, we like our food seasoned, right? Seasoned, that's what we do. All right, so now I'm gonna let this kind of come together. And I'm gonna add, if you see it's a little bit too thick, you come back in with just a little bit of water. All right, so that's what I'm gonna do. We've had enough chicken stock and all that other stuff. So I'm gonna get a little bit of water right here. I'm gonna loosen that out. There we go, there we go. There we go, woo-wee. Y'all gonna be full, full I say. And now I'm gonna add my green onions. Woo. There we go. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off. That's done deal. That's a done deal. Okay, so now I'm gonna let this rest for just a second, because next step is to plate. So give me 5 seconds and we'll be right back. Hey, now we're back with Chef Dana Dumas with Brunch and Vibes. Now it's coming to our conclusion because we're really hungry and we're ready to do it. So our last little piece of this is our strawberry mimosa. Remember when I made the strawberry syrup, but I had saved some? I had cooled in the refrigerator, and now it's gonna be at the bottom, right? So fresh pureed strawberries, a little lime. Remember we put in that sugar, white and the brown sugar. And we have some fresh orange juice. So we use it in our French toast, and now we're using it in our mimosa. There's a little layer of that. Any brewed champagne that you want, doesn't matter, or Prosecco. And just top it off. And it's as pretty as that. Right? Boom. But the other star of the show are the Gumbo Grits. So anyway, creamy, beautiful, that Gouda, that smell, that shrimp stock. Now we're plating. We're at super creamy time there. I'm gonna rinse this off real fast. I don't want to get the grits in the gumbo. So real quick, here we go. Oh my goodness gracious, look at that. Look at what Chef Dana Dumas did. Woohoo! Oh my gosh, 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 gosh. I'm telling you, right here is where it's at. Right here is where it's at. This is just a little bit of flat leaf parsley just to top it off. And here we go, your gumbo grits. Hi, you have joined me today. This is Chef Dana Dumas. I am the CEO, founder, and head chef of Sugar Jam, the Southern Kitchen. We are located in North Scottsdale, Arizona. You can find me on IG at Sugar Jam 1. I'm on Facebook at Sugar Jam, the Southern Kitchen, and on Twitter and TikTok at Sugar Jam TSK. But today, what we started with is our strawberry shortcake French toast sticks, right? And that is just so delicious. You see it plated here and how we came together with that. Then we took a journey to something savory, and that savory was our gumbo grits. Most people know at my restaurant the Creole shrimp and grits or the lobster shrimp and grits with crab, but today I took a turn because it's something I do for my special network of small friends when I have the girls group coming over, and this is my gumbo grits. That we took it. We made some roux. We sauteed some shrimp. I made a shrimp stock. We have crab in there, fresh lump crab. We have a chicken andouille sausage. And man, we have the Holy Trinity in there as well. This has come together with these Gouda grits. And man, this is super savory. And then we finished it off with our Strawberry Mimosa. And remember, we did a fresh puree of strawberries, but we did it two ways. We made a syrup that topped our strawberry shortcake French toast sticks, and then I used the same syrup as the base for our strawberry mimosa, topped it with a little bit of orange juice and your favorite brut champagne, your chef's kiss. Thank you.